He
mean,
always has the best shirts.
I mean.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Queen Bee 2022. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, right? Deuces.
All that. All that.
Yes, all that. Listen, welcome. If you are just now tuning in and this is your very first episode of Queen Bee, honey, you have a treat in front of you. If you have been tuning in to Queen Bee all along and you enjoy the team we have here, then I tell you what, 2022 is going to be bigger and better than ever. And we've proven it by bringing you not just one, but two guests tonight because we're 2022. Okay.
That's
Welcome
how
to
we
Queen
do
B. Yes, that is how we do it, honey. And listen, if you are tuned in right now, share this video with somebody else. Tag your friends, get them in the room. Ladies, ladies, ladies. Not necessarily ladies only, because we need to hear from the fellas too. But Queen B, we are ready. We are presented by Selma Air and the Monte Method. Want to toss it on over to my friend, my homie, my pal. Listen, I know I get on his nerves, but Monte
You
and my
know,
homegirl
you
Kim.
know, you got to stay on me. You got to stay on me now.
always. It's Mark.
Like Kim, what's going on, everybody? Can y'all hear me fine?
Yes.
Perfect. So again, like Lydia said, Monte in the his house, Queen B 2022. We just want to welcome y'all to Queen B. We're so glad that y'all joined us for another year. We got a lot of great things in store. Lydia is challenging me, challenging Kim, challenging herself. This year we're gonna be pulling like some major stuff. I ain't just talking and jiving. I'm being for real. All right. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Those of you that joined us for the first time, just to give you a quick little rundown of what Queen Bee is. So while working in the HIV field, I was tasked with coming up with something, a platform for women where we could discuss their sexual health, HIV 101, prevention, and all of those different things. And so we wanted to basically get into the church house and talk about sex, where sex is so taboo. And those are one of our past conversations that we might revisit later on down the line. But anyway, Queen Bee birthed out of that. And then once I left that field, it kind of died down. And then Lydia, here she come, call me talking about Monte, we should bring Queen Bee back. I said, all right, let me call my girl Kim. 'Cause I ain't doing Queen Bee without Kim. And now you got the dynamic trio. And we
Right.
are here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. And so again, we just want to welcome you all to Queen Bee. And so I'm gonna pass it on to Kim.
Hello, 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 everybody. It is so good to be amongst you all in 2022 because we know so many people that are not. But I just want to make me a quick introduction. I'm Kim Moon. Monte told you about how we connected, and we've been like, I don't know, yeah, thick as thieves, all that good stuff. Ever
Yes.
since I am the founder of Positively Beautiful. It's not about being HIV positive, nor is it about being whole. I mean, it is about being whole. It's not about being positive, nor is it about being beautiful, but more about being whole. I do that because I realize there are so many women in the world who are not whole. We are just going along to get along because we don't want to be by ourselves. And I'm just trying to help. So I thank you all for being here, and I thank you two ladies for being here. And I am excited to hear from you about human trafficking.
Yes, we want to welcome our special guest for the evening. We have Marjorie Baker, who serves as the Executive Director for One Place Family Justice Center. Whoop, 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 whoop. All the wonderful work that they do in and around Montgomery, Alabama, and Miss Krishula Edwards of Edwards Essentials LLC. Honey, they are both here to share wonderful information around human trafficking. And when I say wonderful information, there's nothing wonderful about this thing called human trafficking, right? But the wonderful information is definitely going to be how we as individuals and as a community can come together to stop this thing called human trafficking. And I know some of you all are wondering, like, well, what does that have to do with HIV? We will wrap all of these things, we will tie all of these into a beautiful bow by the end of this episode, y'all. But January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So it is, yes, as indicated by the backdrop for Miss Edwards, National Slavery and Human Trafficking Awareness Month. It is so important that we learn the facts, because even in doing the research for this episode, y'all, I learned some stuff that I really had not recognized around
Me
human
too.
trafficking in the state of Alabama,
Right.
right?
Me too.
So we
Mhm.
are going to learn that. Look, they're going to learn us today. Okay. So
They're
we
gonna
want to
learn
make
us something.
yes,
Not
we
teachers,
want
they're
to
gonna learn
invite
us.
the ladies to introduce themselves, tell us a little about yourself, and then we can dive off into the questions. I want to first ask Miss Baker if you could introduce yourself to the people.
Good evening. I am Marjorie Baker, Executive Director of One Place Family Justice Center. Been serving in this role for about 2.5 years now. Previously worked with the DA's office as a victim service officer. And then before that, for 2 years, with a local domestic violence agency, the Family Sunshine Center. I'm excited to One Place Family Justice a multidisciplinary team of professionals who come together under one roof Monday through Friday to address not only human trafficking, but also domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault, and elder abuse. So we provide comprehensive services and victim and resources. And human trafficking is one of those crimes that we have to deal with on a regular basis. I am glad to be here today.
Now, I know that it's a little bit choppy, and so we're trying to make sure that we're able to hear Ms. Baker. But what I did say is that they deal with human trafficking on a regular basis. And now that may be news for some of us. So we want to toss it over to Miss Edwards, give her space to introduce herself, and we are going to have a great time offering good information.
Good evening, everyone. I am Krishla Edwards. I'm the owner of Edwards Essentials LLC. That is my own private counseling and consulting company. And what I do is I am a trauma counselor. I work with victims dealing with domestic violence, sexual abuse, and human trafficking. I started out working with substance abuse first, and I found that everything was intertwined with each other, that victims of substance abuse had background reason, a lot of childhood trauma. And so I ventured off into sexual abuse and domestic violence. And I have been working in this field now for almost 5 years, and I love it. And with my company, I offer counseling services from birth to infinity of ages. I'm probably one of the only counselors that take Medicaid for individuals to make sure, particularly people of color, are served, because a lot of doctors and companies don't want to take Medicaid. So I do take Medicaid for clients, and out of pocket services for clients. They don't want to file insurance or don't have insurance. I try to make sure that they do get a service and they all get to counseling. And I do public speaking and consulting services for companies that need someone to help with any trainings for their employees or individuals. And thank you all for inviting me to be here today.
Awesome. So, see, we have some experts, you all. So, again, we want to encourage you, if you are just now tuning in, make sure that you're tagging and sharing this video. This is going to be some very important information because, believe it or not, human trafficking does exist in the state of Alabama. It exists in the Black community. It exists in the United States of America. You know, we watch these movies and we get the idea that human trafficking may be something that's happening in other spaces, but it's happening right in our own backyard. So the
And
very
that's what
first question, go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's what I was going to say, which I was going to the first question. We see things on television, we hear about things, um, and it gives us just a surface view or definition of what um, human trafficking, and not just human trafficking, like any other things that we deal with in society. It gives us like a surface definition of what those things really are. And sometimes those things can be right in our face, but because we don't know what they are exactly, we tend to look over them, because we're so surfaced with our definitions of what they really are. So if you can just tell us what human trafficking is, to give us a better insight on the knowledge that we have on what human trafficking is.
Right. Well, I know there are two main types of trafficking. I know we hear a lot of things in the media, but the two main types: sex trafficking and labor trafficking. And both of those type of trafficking include recruitment, harboring, transportation, and the receipt of persons by threat or coercion to participate in an activity that usually ends with being paid. I'm going to let Kershaw add to that. We both work in this field all the time, so we kind of go back and forth.
Yes. Well, definitely what Miss Marjorie said, it does involve coercion and recruitment, exploitation in that area. And thing is with human trafficking, we have to get out of the mystical TV production of what trafficking is. Trafficking is not always somebody chained up, them looking raggedy, those type of things like in a movie or something like that. That's not always what trafficking is. Trafficking looks just like me and you, in most cases, for people. And a lot of trafficking, people don't understand, is familiar trafficking, a family member trafficking you, a parent, those type of things. And traffickers are just as sexual abuse victims and domestic violence abuse victims. They're groomed and they're intimidated in these positions to do certain things. And it's not always, well, that person have a gun to your head or making you do it. It's more of a mental state that this person is in, and they're afraid for their life or their family's life because somebody has intimidated them and threatened them, and they're afraid of retaliation.
Wow.
So right, and like you said something that really struck me, because a lot of the topics that we talk about are very educational to me personally. Um, and when you said something about the mystical part of television that we see, of human trafficking, my mind automatically goes back to I can't think of the name of the movie, but one of y'all go tell
Taken.
me. Thank you. How you know what my mind was? Human
That's what
trafficking.
everyone always asks me.
Right,
They say
where the girls are
taken.
dancing in the club and the people are bidding on them, but they're high and stuff. My mind automatically goes there. And that's because, human trafficking is nothing that I've never experienced firsthand, or if it's been in my face, I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? So um I think again, these conversations that we have are very, very necessary. And I'm sure that I'm gonna pick up something and learn something from you guys today that I can surely carry on. So, but I just wanted to point that out when you said the mystical part. Like that movie automatically came to mind.
I,
Right.
I just want to make a comment that it's kind of like HIV. When you're not a part, then you don't know, and you don't even bother to find out. At the Atlanta airport, you see where it says, if you see something, say something. What do I see? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what I see. I know what I see in the movie. And I ain't seeing nobody high. I ain't seeing no dude dragging a girl. I'm just not seeing that. Not at the airport. Now I know that they say that there are signs, and I know that you all will teach us what those signs are or what to look for. But I think that's one of the biggest problems, because what they show me on TV, it's like HIV. What they show me on TV, that ain't for real.
Right.
That foolishness ain't nowhere near real. You know, and so that's the way it is with human trafficking. It ain't real. But the movie producers and the TV people think they're shedding light, but they're really causing more harm, because they making people like myself more ignorant to the fact.
Because
Right.
how often do we run into those situations that are like that? How often do we run into a club and in the back room in the secret door they got some
Right.
girls that are drunk, that they are selling the girl auctioning the girls off? Like, we don't run into that stuff. Some of the
The
clubs that we
clubs
go
I
to
know
got
that got
some
secret
of the clubs
rooms,
I
they
go to
want to
got
be
one
there.
way in and one way out. So ain't no
But
back
the
door.
ones I know got secret rooms, they want to be there.
Wait
They
a minute,
want
Champagne.
And that's a good point. That's a good
Right.
point. Those young ladies are wanting to be there. They have signed up for a job, and it may have some component of tracking, but they are working, and they may not sleep with the individual and get money for that. They are getting paid. It's up front. It's different.
Right. And myself and Miss Marjorie see trafficking on two different spectrum in a different light. I see victims as in when they may be trying to get out of trafficking, or as a victim coming for help as a counselor. She, on the other hand, may see them working for the DA office and for one place, as in when they're coming to report and when they're going through the court system, those type of different instances, or if they're coming for a sexual assault exam. I see them on the other hand, we both see them at a very vulnerable and broken states, but we also work together to make sure that those different services can benefit the clients, but they are on different levels in which where we see clients and where we help them move from.
Right.
Cool. I have a question. So it's so easy, like human trafficking is so common, but it's not really talked about in the definition that we label it as, human trafficking, right? So a lot of girls, um, and I say girls because a lot of most of the time guys are not the ones. I guess let me give my example so you can understand it better. So um, if guys are, I mean, females are more likely in the club to approach guys because of their status or what they look like. They appear to have money. Um, they appear to have it going on. And now, in this world that we live in, is all about what you have. Determines whether or not I'm gonna be with you. You can pay my bills. You can give me the latest Giuseppe's or the latest red bottoms. I go home with you. So, what kind of advice could we give women, especially young girls, college students who are going out to these clubs, that are meeting these guys, these older guys that appear to have it going on or have what they want? What kind of advice could we give to them to kind of look for signs of people that may be into that human trafficking world? Like, I don't know.
Where for one, it goes back kind of old school, take a partner with you when you're in college, especially if you are away from home. And nowadays, it doesn't matter if you're from the city or not, an area. Never try to travel alone to different parties and clubs that you're going to. Don't accept a drink from anyone you don't know. If you want something from the bar, even if a guy said, "Hey, I pay for it," walk with him to that bar. Watch the bartender, because a lot of times bartenders are in with people. These are like the people that are slipping stuff in your drink. These are the ones that are helping out the pimp or the baiter to help get the person liquored up, to get them, kind of unconscious in a way that they're not very receptive of what they're saying and what they're doing. So you have to watch those different things also, and making sure that you pay attention to that person's behavior. If they're doing something that you feel is weird or out of the norm, pay attention to your gut. Go with your gut feeling about a lot of different things so that you won't end up in certain situations, because sometimes it's not that easy getting out.
Right. And one thing that I do, I share my location. Well, our friend is here. He just commented, "You're safe." One thing that I do with my friends, whether I'm going to meet somebody, I rarely go out by myself. First of all, it's weird. I like to travel with if I go out, I'm going with a friend.
Right.
Okay, but my friends, there are 3 people that have my location on my iPhone. I don't know what them Android's capable of, but I do know that the iPhone. I'm
Now, I'm
sorry,
not
Lily.
feeling that well today, Monte, but I'm not gonna let you disrespect Androids on
It
my
is
end.
what it is,
Okay?
boo.
We not about
I,
to do
I
that.
got all the way 100 today in my, feeling well. But one thing I am going to address is I'm feeling well enough to not let you disrespect Android. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
got you, boo.
But I don't know the capabilities of what an Android can do. But I do know on that iPhone, I'm able to share my location with my friends. And so that's one of the tips that I would want to give, to add on to what you already said. If you can, according to my King Android, if you can share your location with a friend, somebody needs to know where you are at all times. And I was telling my roommate yesterday, I was like, "Do you have my mom's number? You need to put my number in your phone. Like, you never know what I may pass out in here. I may get lost somewhere. I may not come home. You need to call my mom and tell her Monte didn't come home. Monte on the floor. He done passed out. So you need my mama number. Put my mama number in your phone."
Monte, your some ladies may choose to be with a gentleman that has lots of money. The first signs are to look for that gentleman wanting you to be with other men or other people and sleep with other people. It's okay if you choose to date someone who's going to be twice, but if they start to be other people and wanting you to go to other places and be with people, that first sign, that person is not into a relationship. It's not two people in a relationship.
Well,
Now you got 3, 4, 6, and 7 that she's dealing with.
I want to challenge you on that, because sex has evolved from what it used to be.
Oh yeah.
You have OnlyFans. You have group sex that's so common.
Right.
So for somebody to say, "Hey, Tiffany," or "Hey, John, I got a group of girls, like, we trying to have fun tonight. What's up?" That's so common now. So how do you decipher? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it made it difficult. The way of the world today, the way relationships operate, the way things happen in everyday life, it makes it difficult to identify that, because so many people are willfully doing it.
I'm
Back
right.
to what
Let
you
me
were
tell you
saying
something.
about,
When I moved to Atlanta, Kim,
yeah,
baby, the doors of heaven open up.
Was it heaven?
Remember that phone call?
Girl, you don't hear me. Listen, I have encountered so much different stuff here in Atlanta, and I be raising my eyebrow, and I'm like, I'm kind of like Phaedra now. When I be approached with stuff, I'm be like, I'm a Southern gentleman. Like, what?
Southern gentleman.
So it's like, how do you tell the difference?
So
Like
you
for somebody
don't
to be
have
invited to sex parties and all that, like that's when I listen to me. That stuff is like coming over somebody's house for Thanksgiving.
It's a buffet.
Yes,
Listen, all you can eat.
you are
Hello,
correct.
and I and,
And guess
I'm
what?
not hiding
They
that.
are
I'm saying
willfully
that as
doing
it
that.
is. All you can eat.
Right.
and that's the reasons this has turned into $150 billion business. Because we are doing, we are involving more groups.
I put that in my notes. Y'all see that this
What's
morning?
that?
$150
$150
enterprise.
Right.
Billion. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Yeah. But to me, that's where like me and my, organization is with Positively Beautiful, because a lot of that has to do with self-love and self-respect and caring for yourself and just knowing what real love is. But to know that, you have to first love yourself, because once you love yourself, you know what you will and won't take. Monte, you told this group this, so I ain't really finna put you out there. But that's like you called a guy and he was having sex and he answered the phone, right? Guess what? You knew you did not want to be with him, and that was the end of that, right? Finito. And so you have people, women especially, have to learn what they want and don't want. But to do that, you got to learn to love you. And once you learn to love you, you're able to say, "Oh no, boo, we not having no twosomes, threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes. If I don't want to do it, I ain't doing it."
I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it takes, like you said, the wholeness though. It starts pretty young for a lot of young women and
Yes.
men,
Yes.
because if you have never encountered what real love is, someone at a young age that you really trusted, parents or
You
guardians
respect it.
telling you that I love you, you are enough, you don't have to do certain things, you don't have to look certain ways or be certain ways, that goes a long way onto a person mental, and especially to a child. Because a lot of my clients, I ask them about their childhood, and that plays a core to a lot of issues that adults have going forward, is
Right.
because of their childhood. A lot of things happen in their childhood that changed them, and up into a childhood, into adolescent years and teenage years. A lot of things happen. And you have a lot of them that have been betrayal, they have been hurt by ones that they really trusted and loved. And from there, that just shot off a rocket into these other dimensions of life that have carried them into the ways that they are.
Well, I
Or
want
they
to challenge.
watched how mom had Uncle Teddy and Uncle Bobby and Uncle, Leroy and all the uncles, and then, in and out. And so this is the way to go.
But I
This is
want
the way to go. And then sex trafficker come along. It's easy. You know what? You're thinking it's love because he's saying, make my homeboy happy. And you're saying, he loves me. And if I do this, he's going to love me more. And that's not the case.
But then I also want to challenge. I'm in the challenger mood today.
Challenge, challenge,
I'm,
challenge.
no, I'm just playing, but for real. So you stated that um, you've run into situations where people don't hear, I love you. You don't have to be this way, or such and such. I come from a family where if my mama called me and said, I love you, I'm gonna be like, girl, is you about to die?
Your mama just what's
But
understood don't need to be said.
right.
You
So,
know,
but what I'm
that's how a lot
what
of
I'm
things are.
what I'm getting at is people don't. So if my mother never tells me, like my brother said that crap. I'm saying that crap. I don't want to say it like that, but that's how we joke in my family because we don't say. I come from a family where we don't say I love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird to hear it, but I don't ever question in my mind whether
What do they do?
nobody in my family loves me because it's shown with an action. And that's why when people like can't nobody I love
It's
you.
an action word,
It sounds good, but I need the action behind it. So what I'm challenging is if a person hears that, or if they don't hear it, but it's shown, like the action is shown, like if so high class things are very popular these days. People buying these high end items, Louis Vuitton stuff,
Gucci,
and all
Chanel.
this on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like people going shopping, and you can tell they ain't used to nothing because they always taking a picture of the stuff. Like if you was used to this stuff, you wouldn't be taking a picture of it.
Right.
And so if somebody's buying that stuff for me all the time, in my mind, oh,
You
this nigga love me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whether they tell me or not, they're showing it. So I just want to.
But sometimes they're not showing it. They are persuading you.
They're
right, what it is that they need.
But we're so into it, we don't know it's persuasion. We think it's love.
Manipulation.
Exactly.
And so there was a term I think I've heard both Miss Baker and Miss Edwards use, and it's called grooming. Miss Edwards, can you describe what grooming looks like, and is that something that Monte is actually referring to when he's talking about buying the nice bags and riding around in the nice car? Is that a form of grooming?
Yes, that is a form of grooming, and that's a form of basically you buying the person trust or trying to buy their love and just showing them like, hey, I really love you, because if I didn't love you, I wouldn't buy you this. He didn't love you because he never buy you nothing. Your mama didn't love you because she never bought you nothing. Then you tell me that your mama didn't never do this for you and do this. Then I just do this for you. They try to use things back at you that you have basically confided in them that you didn't have, or things that you went through to manipulate you and coerce you into the action that they want you to do. And that grooming basically is me studying you and observing you. What is it that you like, that you don't like, what you didn't have before, what I can do for you, basically whatever I can do to get you on my team and use against you.
And let's go back a little bit to the foundation. Human trafficking does not involve buying nice things. You get less and less things, and your body uses more and more, but you get less. Now, if you're in a relationship, this person is buying you things, they are constantly with this. That may just be a relationship or she wants to do that. But when we start moving into human trafficking, those individuals are not getting anything. They barely get their head, and basically they are not in relationships that once they start using the individual to make money off of them, that individual is another piece of property. Mm-hmm. So we're two different dynamics here.
Mm-hmm. Well, how
let me say this real quick before you say that. So I know y'all hear she's kind of choppy, but it's okay because they're a team. And so she was going to translate what she was saying. And so if those that are viewing, if you all can just bear with the connection, it's okay. There are two to the game. She's speaking, and if we can't understand what she's saying, there's a translator group.
But one of the other things is, let me just say this, there's a translator, but the words are actually coming up on the screen. So if you all are quick,
if it's muted.
Huh?
If
no,
it's muted.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking
at it. Like your phone is muted. That's why you're looking at it, because your phone volume is down. So if your phone volume is down, it'll bring the words on the screen.
It'll read the words. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You learned me something. I had no idea.
Come on, Monte.
You learned me something.
Tech savvy.
So I was just going to ask, but how do you tell the difference? Because what you just described and what Monte and I, it's really just today's relationship. He buying, he this, he that. So how do you distinguish the two, other than if you love me, you're gonna have sex with, you know, my homeboy or my whatever. How do you distinguish the difference? Because sometimes it looks the same.
Well, what Miss Baker was saying was that, when you have someone buying you a lot of things like that, trying to buy your love, and they're buying you that so that you can continue to engage in the trafficking part for them, like having sex with multiple people. Basically, you become their property. You're not their lover. You're not in relationship with them. You're basically just property to them. And that's all they want you to do. They basically have your life set up like a calendar and on a timing, like you got to be with this person and that person. Time you don't want to do it is consequences to that action of you not wanting to do it. And when you don't want to do it and they get tired of you, you're not of usage to them. Basically, you're trash.
Right. Okay.
And that shows the difference of me and you together and we have this poly relationship versus I'm liking you and you see this opportunity and you season it on me of game because you're getting paid off of these men that's having sex to me and you're breaking me off of a few $100s of some shoes or a coat or something or a purse for me to feel good about myself to continue doing, but you're getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the action and you're getting it off multiple men. I mean, you have some people, they see at least 100 people or something a day of getting raped. I mean, because that's essentially what it is. They're getting raped. And people may say, well, they're doing it willingly. Yes, but no. Nobody has to have a gun to your head to do certain things and you go and do it. We've all done things that's not right. Nobody had a gun to our head to do it. It was on our own will and it was on a mental capacity that we did it. And that works the same ways of human trafficking. They're not having a gun to their head, but they have gotten to them mentally, verbally, and emotionally enough that this person do trust them and not only trust, but they're afraid of them. That's the ultimate thing. They're afraid of them. And this person has power and control over them. And that's the ultimate game of human trafficking or any abuse is power and control.
Right. Wow.
Lydia, you've been quiet. I guess me and Kim
what? Because see, right now I was really trying to, in this moment, trying to reach out to our experts and see if they can coordinate. I was typing a message to see if they can coordinate so we can hear Ms. Baker better. But I do have quite a few questions because, again, in doing the research, human trafficking is something that is really, I even ended up talking to our attorney, not attorney general, the state's attorney's office. And it was so interesting. We had a really interesting conversation. And he even said, one of the prosecuting attorneys at the federal level said to me that, um, I'm glad that you're doing this because so often we run into situations that people just simply do not even realize what they have been lured into, and people create these multi-million-dollar industries, just what Miss Edwards was talking about, these multi-million-dollar businesses on the backs of people who are truly being victimized. So I really wanted to and he said that most people don't realize that it's happening right up under our noses.
Yes, ma'am.
And that there are situations in Alabama that we need to be careful and be mindful of. So I want to ask the question. So when we consider Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, the Deep South is not necessarily an area that we think is connected to human trafficking. Can you give us information around what we are seeing, what we could be seeing in our communities when it comes to human trafficking?
Are you wanting me or Miss Baker?
Either one of you out. Did we get the
Yeah, she's She's on.
Okay.
Yes.
Here.
Now somebody's calling. Look.
Right. Who calling somebody?
I was
Yes.
calling Miss Baker. Can you hear
Oh.
Miss Baker?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So our question is, go back to the original.
So the question is around like how common human trafficking actually is in our communities. Like, we think that Alabama is not a space that is where human trafficking really exists. So how common is it, and are there particular businesses, like what are the signs that we may be, like Kim said earlier, in the airport, we don't know that we might be seeing human trafficking, right? So, what are the things that we can actually look for in our day-to-day lives to say, you know what, wait a minute, let me pay attention to what's happening here?
Typically, there's not very specific about not being out there and well known. They move from one city to another, and I can tell you in our community, state pretty busy, where human traffickers are. So what we see locally are individuals who either escaped or the human trafficker left alone in a hotel. They've only been here maybe a couple of weeks because they were going from one place to another. Vulnerable places are going to be where you see a lot of college, usually where you see homelessness, vulnerable. So we who have not lived here, but they're passing through, and committed them to do some things in the city, on from that city to the next city. What we are doing in our city and state is trying to make sure that we get information out to hotels, to college campuses, to places where we think human traffickers will really target to find their victims.
How do you all go about?
Monty described some of them a little bit of that where they fly places and they buy purses and they give them lots of money. That's where you are coming from. Our society, I think we did a good job of describing this group. Everybody's joining in. Human trafficking is to another hole where they're finding these type of things that are extremely who have low self-esteem, selling them. They're not in a relationship buying for them. So average human trafficker could be the regular business, has the regular job. He's making all of this extra money because he's in this group and he can get 3 to 4 girls and move them to other places and make extra off of them.
Wow.
It is a serious business. And I think social media has made it more flexible, especially for the traffickers.
Wow.
Traffickers, I mean, it's like a business. It's like a corporation over here. They'll exchange a set of girls, or a group over here will exchange another set of girls.
Wow.
So do people use social media to lure potential victims? I mean, we
Yes.
talked about like in the nightclub, but would social media be a place where we need to be mindful and paying attention?
Yes, social media is a hunting ground because you have to
Yes.
realize that the virtual world is endless. You don't know who's on the other side of that screen or that avatar or picture that you're really talking to. I can put up anybody picture that I want to be or think I am and talking to somebody, and that's who they see. That's who they think I may be. I can research and understand what kids like, what they shows they watch, the lingo, and talk back that same thing to them to lure that person to get them to trust me, to lure them out the house, to meet up, and then boom, you have those type of situations. And you realize that we've been in COVID going on with two and a half, almost
Hmm.
3 years now. A lot of more things has been virtual than before. So they had to revamp their program and their process of how they're going to get people. A lot of people are not doing out shopping that they get to see people a lot of time. A lot of people are not flying anymore. So they had to revamp, chat rooms, social media, Snapchat, TikTok, all these other different things that they get to lure people, all these group rooms and different things that a lot of our teenagers and even adults they talk on. A lot of times people just talk to people and get on things because they're lonely or they depressed. They want somebody to talk to. Think about like the Sweat Hotel that come on the radio. How many people call Key Sweat and tell them their whole life on the radio? You got people that do that on social media. They talk to people on social media and tell them their whole life story. They don't know
Glad
these
to have 'em.
people.
You better come on here with the Key Sweat Hotel.
I love the Sweat
You know,
Hotel.
yeah,
So if Keith Sweat is watching this, I love the Sweat Hotel, but it is very funny and alarming to me
Never
that
watched
people would
it.
I
tell.
watched it. Well, I've heard it. I've listened to it.
You hear it's a radio show.
Yeah,
So
I've
I
I
listened
mean,
to it.
but it's
I
very
get you on
alarming that
there.
you do find people that do just tell people from A to Z about them, that so willingly, and then they wonder how people know certain things. So and it's right there in your face. A lot of people put it out there.
So are there things that, because see, with children, and I heard you talk about social media and the chat rooms with children, are there things that we need to be mindful of as parents, like that we need to, because now I'm a strong believer in this is my phone anyway, so I'm going in there.
do
so
what you gotta do.
Yeah.
so
I
are
told
there things
you
that we need to be on the lookout for when it comes to our children?
we know who our children are talking to on the internet. We need to know who our children are connected, giving their phone numbers to. We need to know who our children are going to meet with, because eventually it may not first 5 connections, 6 phone call. That person is meet that child.
Wow.
And the children are smart. You may say, well, I follow my child on social media. Well, guess what? You may not be following the right account.
Two
Kids have
pages.
they have a spam account and they may
They
have
are
a real
very
account.
smart.
So they
Yeah.
are very smart. They even have chat rooms and different things that only they know the password to get into. That the icon is different than what you may think it is. They have different lingo that you may not know what they're talking about. This short text, those type of things. So they're very smart on those type of things. They have invisible ink that you can send pictures and text to that nobody can see but the person that you're sending it to. It's a lot of different little things. And let me just not put it on the kids. Adults do it too. But
Right.
children have to
Come
be
on,
very
invisible
careful
pictures.
with it.
Come on, invisible pictures. Erase it so that picture can show.
Snapchat. It go away anyway.
It disappear. Yeah, that's
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh, we got an echo.
mute the computer. Are you on the phone? Mute the computer. Tell her to mute her computer.
Done.
Yes.
But we still got an echo.
Did she mute the computer?
Yep.
I want to hear you so bad.
I swear, it's like she's giving so much great information. I'm like, Lord Jesus.
We need to get this.
Yes. And so we do want to apologize to viewers. You know, we know that we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but this is such an important topic that we're going to continue to push through this. As you know, that if you're watching on Facebook, there should be closed captioning available. The words are actually coming through. So we do again want to apologize, but this is some valuable information, y'all. We've got to make sure that we equip ourselves and our community with this information because it is so under our noses.
I'm telling you.
$150 billion
Going our
industry.
noses are right
Be aware for our
directly in
kids,
our face.
for those of them who have kids.
Can you hear her now?
Can you hear
Say
me now?
something.
Yes.
Yes. And no echo. Yay! Touchdown. Look.
Now you got to repeat everything you done said. Who's
Right. Like, okay, run the last 45 minutes back. Look.
Run it back.
Okay.
So now, we've talked a lot about the characteristics of human trafficking. We've talked about where we can, like, that it's not specific to one particular geographic area. So when we think about a human trafficking victim, someone who may get sucked in, and I know that you talked about being mindful of like on college campuses and things like that, and when we travel, but so that we can dispel the myths, what does a human trafficking victim look like?
I think Ursula said it earlier. They look just like you and I.
Okay.
There is no look.
They look like the average human being, the average individual.
Right. So
And
basically, we
they're
don't
not
need to focus on what we see on
change
TV.
that we talked about.
Right.
Right. And I just wanted you all to say that again because see, that's very much, and Kim talked about that earlier, how it is with HIV. Right? People say, "Oh, well, if you have HIV, you look like this." No.
Man.
There's no ethnicity, there's no faith, there's no location, there's no financial status that indicates whether someone is going to end up being HIV positive or thriving beyond an HIV diagnosis, or whether someone may become a victim of human trafficking. Just because you're well off, right, financially, doesn't mean that you won't be taken advantage of.
Wow.
So when we think about, or when we consider what potentially happens if we come into contact with a person who is a victim or a part of a human trafficking ring, what should we do? Like, what happens, like, if I'm in a situation and I hear, say I'm in a bathroom, I'm at a nightclub and I hear a girl crying or something like that, and she's talking about, well, no, he's gonna take me or whatever, what have you. Like, what should we do? Like, what is our next step when it comes to helping victims
Girl,
of
if you
human
don't come on here and let's get him.
Well, first, in that
Let's bust
situation,
him
you have
up.
to remember to check the place and area that you're at because you have to protect yourself in this situation.
Okay.
Because trafficker, the person is their property. If I take your burger from you, you're gonna be mad and you're gonna retaliate. So that's how they feel about that person. You're taking their property, their money maker away from them, or you're you're a threat to them. So you want to watch that first of all. If that person is in the bathroom with you and they are away from the trafficker and the baiter, you have to watch that too, because if it's a male that's trafficking this person, she may not be alone. She may have another female with her, and that other female may not be who you think she is. She may not be her friend that's in traffic with her. She may be working along with trafficker as the baiter, and as they say, the top BICTCH. She's the person that the trafficker uses to keep the other girls in line. So you have to watch those type of things. And if she is alone, you need to just talk to her to see if she will be willing to give you information, her name, where she's from, any contact person for herself, where they're staying, where they're going, color of the car, any of these identifying information. And you need to call law enforcement. Don't try to go to the club owner, anybody in that club, because you don't know who's connected to who.
Wow.
So we keep saying, so the whole time, and I've done it too. We keep saying, because most of the illustrations I've given, I've said she. We keep saying she.
Right.
Are men impacted by, or are men victims of human trafficking?
Yes.
Great question.
Yes. Yes. Commercial trafficking includes male and female. It's a business that includes both vulnerable individuals.
Right. I wanted to be clear for our audience, because again, we're dealing with most of the time our audience are people that are not in the field that we are in, and so as community people, and I was once one of them, and I'm still one of them in certain fields, human trafficking. Hello, we tend to think surface level, and so we keep saying she, and so I just wanted to clarify for the audience that men are victims of human trafficking.
Yes, everyone
That's
is.
a very good point, Monty. Men are rape victims and they're human trafficking victims too.
Right.
So can I ask you two ladies a question? What's the youngest age of a I know that we talk about or we hear about the younger kids being trafficked, but what's the youngest age that you've seen or that, happens?
I've seen a toddler, like an arm baby, being brutally raped and passed around. It was, like I said in the beginning, familial trafficking. You have parents, guardians that basically they traffic out their kids. They line them up, take them to the trafficker, have the trafficker come to them, all those different reasons. So I've seen cases that it's been brutal abuse for toddlers, like kids, arm babies, basically infants, that to the point that they cannot have the efficient life with their reproductive organs anymore.
Right. Oh
my God.
And this is a business about making money. And if you have a human being that they can trade for money, age has no limit.
Yeah, that's just that's a lot right there, though. God.
That is.
It is. And I see you all, everybody's face and heart seemed like it got really heavy when we said that. But it really is. And think about our position. We're in this day in and day out to see this type of behavior from people who's getting brutally raped and beaten and going through this situation. It's not something to take very lightly. And it's not something that should be hidden. It's something that a topic should be talked about, but we don't. It's one of those taboo type of things, especially in the Black community. Just like, Black people don't like talking about counseling. They don't even like talking about going to the doctor. Those type of things. Talking about, like you was talking about the uncles in the family. They just tell you, don't sit on that uncle lap or be around that uncle, but they're not giving you the background story of Uncle Billy used to rape Aunt Janice, all these family secrets, these different things.
Right. So we're towards the end of our session, and so what are some resources that we could give to victims who may have experienced human trafficking, or what can we do if we encounter a situation, if we see some sort of human trafficking activity?
Well, the number one thing is you want to make sure victims know that they have resources, they have options and that there is help out there. I mean, you're being controlled and being told that you can't get away from me. I'll find you no matter where you go. You have to let them know there are safe options out there. Number
Okay,
one,
so
not every
go ahead. I'm
victim
sorry.
wants to go to law enforcement. Not every victim wants to go to the police station. You've got to learn about your local programs in your area. Learn about your programs that are serving victims.
Isn't there a human trafficking hotline?
Yes, there's a 1-800, the Human Trafficking 1-800 hotline.
Okay.
I don't have that number right off. Yeah. I know that there's a national hotline that will connect you to shelters and places where you can go in the United States. But if you're in any local area, typically there is at least a resource, a 24-hour resource that
So
you can reach out to.
I just looked up the number. The number to call, Lydia, you'll put it in the chat, is 1-888-373-7888, or you can text "Be Free" to 233-733, or you can go to humantraffickinghotline.org.
Yes, thank you.
And in the state of Alabama, our Attorney General's office, they are cracking down and they're being very open about helping victims of human trafficking. Like I say, you do have local sources. One Place Justice Center, you have the Family Sunshine Center. Even if these individuals don't want to go to law enforcement, like Ms. Baker said, get in contact with a local business, nonprofit organization to help them get to safety. Because a lot of times what the victims are needing, it may be more than what your organization is able to do, even law enforcement, and they need further help at the Attorney General office, the marshals, the FBI, because it's bigger than just what is there where that person is, because they could have been just passing through and got away from the person, but the ring is much bigger and deeper, and that person needs to be relocated.
So I've talked to Lydia about doing a session on, I wanted to invite someone from the sex work field to talk in this arena on our platform. And so once we make this happen, I have someone that I want to contact. I just need to talk to Lydia and Kim about making this person feel comfortable about coming to talk about the work that they do. But I also want to, when we do that session, maybe have one of you back for that particular session, because I know that human trafficking also happens in that field and in those spaces. And so just want to tie those two topics together. And so I don't know. One of y'all gonna come back?
Of course.
Look, wait a minute. Look, you said one of them, and I'm about to be like 2 Chainz and say both of them.
Both of them. BOFM.
Yeah.
So when we put that together, and I'm saying that for our audience, listen, I got one of the baddest dancers in Atlanta that I want to bring on this show. Go and tell your homeboys, go and tell your homegirls, to talk about the work that she does. And I'm going to get her on here. And I definitely want to tie this topic into the work that she does, the atmosphere that she works in. And I'm not saying this specifically about my friend, but there may be sex workers who may need this as education also, but then can also give us insight, give our experts insights on maybe some things that that they never thought of that could help them, but also help us that are there viewing the work or enjoying the work that they do.
Because we know people. I know people that we look at sex work as a bad thing. We've been taught that it's a bad thing, but there are some women that
we don't
do
look at it as a bad thing.
They want to, and they make money, and they like the money that they make. There are some people that has been forced to do it, and they just kind of, fell into that role. But there are a lot of people that do it because, hey, it's easy.
Yeah. So, did you all want to give any final comments or anything to help our viewers or to further educate our viewers or anything?
I would just say for individuals, make sure you go and do the research yourself on the topic, find out these different things and questions that you have. Don't just leave everything to other people to tell you, the media, what you read on social media, those type of things. Make sure you go and research and find out for yourself and read. Make sure that when you are reading something that you are getting it from a credible source and you're not just getting it off of a website that is hearsay or it's like a chat that you're reading stuff that other people are really saying, and making sure that you are giving out information that is credible also, that is researched, that is proven to be correct. Going to websites that have .org, human trafficking, or something that's working in sexual abuse, that's giving people this vital information that they need. And like I said, research is key in anything that you do and want to find out, and especially in this world. And do understand that things do change, information change, just like the world changes. So what may have been hot and may have been done even last year, 2 years ago in this field, it may not be relevant now because things evolve, and people in working that field, they do have to change their plan, because just like a criminal, when the police get onto them, they got to switch their path. So when they figure out that people are onto them and understanding them more and more, they got to switch it up. They got to keep us guessing.
Wow.
Yes, and I want to say, in addition to that great information of research, become an advocate, volunteer with agencies that do this type of work. Get involved, hold webinars and Facebook Live information sessions. Get with your social service agencies, your church groups, and you guys educate the community. Invite folks in and teach the community. So I encourage individuals to get involved, to learn more. And I just appreciate you guys taking this topic on. It's a tough topic.
And I
want to, something we talk about every day.
Right.
I want to add on to what you just said. When you get together with your friend groups, it's good to have conversations like this. Let me tell you something about Monte. You may show up at Monte's house for a party, but let me tell you something. You might get a condom demonstration while you're there.
Mm-hmm.
I will pull that. It ain't no dildo, okay? It's a condom demonstrator.
Okay.
Okay? It's a condom demonstrator.
Teach how to do it.
I may pull that condom demonstrator out, condom demonstrator out, and show you how to put on a condom. I may pull that female condom out and ask you if you know what this is and educate your tail. Okay? Right. Don't be afraid as friend groups to talk about things other than drinking and going out. That stuff is cool.
And girlfriends and girlfriends.
And it's a constant conversation in my house. But at the same time, I got a bag full of condoms. I'm gonna pull them condoms out. I would show you, because you'd be surprised at who knows or who doesn't know what a flavored condom is and what they're used for. And so I take moments like that when I'm with my friends. It may be a 5-minute conversation to educate them. So educate your friends. Like, don't be afraid to have conversations like this on human trafficking and sexual health and prevention and all that kind of stuff. Like, talk to your friends about more than what the latest outfit is, the latest trend is, what you're drinking at a club, the finest tall, light skinned 6'1" man from Alabama, who he is.
Dark skin. Don't nobody want no light skin, man.
Well, Ken, the man start his name start with an M. And I mean it might be Monte. I don't know.
Oh, come
Anyway,
on now.
I got you,
I'm
boo.
just playing. I'm just playing.
But
But
look,
don't be afraid to have these conversations with your friends in your friend
right.
circles.
But I wanna ask you, ladies, something. I know that you all counsel and you work in this field, and I don't know if you want to give out your contact information in case there is someone that would need to reach out to you.
That's
But
good,
if
Kim.
you can, give out your contact information or how they can reach you on social media, whatever it is, just so that if there is someone that's listening, because this will go on social media and people will listen, or share it on down the line next week, next month, whatever the case might be. So we just want people to at least be accessible. Yes, we gave them the 800 number and then we gave them the local number. But since you're here and this is the work that you do, I wanted to know if you all mind sharing or don't mind sharing your information so that if someone needs to reach out to you, they can.
Sure.
And I put the contact number for One Place Family Justice Center in the chat.
Yes.
That's the number 825, and then we have a crisis line, a sexual assault crisis line, and that number's in the chat too. The 334-213-1227, and the office number 334-262-7378. And then I followed that with our website address. So all of that's in the chat. Reach out to us, even if you just have questions.
Thank you.
Good.
Yes. And my phone number is 334-245-4243 for Edwards Essentials. And they can call me. They can reach me on Facebook. My name is Krishla Edwards. And my email is my name, edwardskrishla@gmail.com. For questions, information, speaking engagement, whatever it may be, and I will get back with them. And
Thank
it
you
should
Crystal,
be
could you
posted.
say that number again? 334.
Sure. 334-245-4243
Yes.
for Edwards Essentials LLC.
Thank you, ladies.
And we just want to encourage y'all to go and share this video. You never know who's encountering these types of situations, and you never know how these videos or these lives will help your peers. And so we encourage y'all to go back and share these videos on your pages. I've never been the one to be discouraged by numbers, because I always have a saying: if I had one night, one mic, I can put about 1,000 to flight. But if I had you, this one person, I can add about 10K to the crew. So go back and share this live, because
Absolutely.
you never know what your peers are dealing with. Just because they don't talk about it doesn't mean that they're dealing with it. And then I also want to encourage you to be aware of what you're saying around your friends, because you never know who's dealing. That very thing that you may find funny, your friend, your close friend, may be dealing with that situation in which you find funny, and you've pushed them one step backwards into talking to you about it. And
Right.
so let's be aware of what we're saying around our friends. Let's share information with our friends, vital information with our friends. And let's share this live with our friends. And not only that, let's share Queen Bee, let's share Selma Air, and let's share Positively Beautiful with our friends. Because there's something that we all share in these three dimensions that could help somebody
Yes.
along their way. And so
And Monte, before you wrap us up, I do want to just share a little bit of information. Queen Bee actually is a part of a program called She's Ready that is operating out of Selma Air. She's Ready is an initiative for Black women ages 25 to 50 who live in Alabama. And if you are interested in your own wellness and the wellness of other Black women, y'all, She's Ready is a project that is very near and dear to my heart because I fit within that demographic. I'm a Black woman between 25 and 50. We're that sandwich generation that are raising kids. We could potentially be taking care of aging family members. We are working. We're involved in the community. And also so often we forget about our own health and wellness. So
Right.
She's Ready. Queen Bee was resurrected. Listen, because because we have to have a way to relate to one another. So She's Ready is an opportunity. I'm going to put the number and the email address up again. If you are interested in doing exactly what Monte said, having meaningful conversations
We'll
with
come.
other women who are just like you, sign up for She's Ready. We are having live events. We are connecting with one another on so many different levels. Y'all sign up, email us at blackbeltwell@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at the Black Belt Wellness Center, which is a part of the Selma Air family. We are at 334-418-5055. I do encourage you strongly to just give us a call, get involved. We meet in small groups. We do meet in person. We meet virtually. We're hosting Queen Bee Live on March 5th in conjunction with the Bridge Crossing Jubilee. So
I'm gonna say to
there's
talk about that
so
too.
much we have to offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just wanted to plug. Look, shameless plug. Look.
Plug it in,
And
girl.
I want you all to keep in mind that What is it? March the what that we're doing
March
the live
5th,
in?
Saturday,
March
March
6th.
5th. Yep.
So yeah, we'll do the Edmund Pettis Bridge.
And we get on the road.
Yeah, we going on the road.
I done
and
pushed my
we
makeup.
want y'all to come.
I done scheduled my makeup class for that day, but I done changed the date.
Yes. Hallelujah.
I moved it. I
Hallelujah.
told you, Lydia, I can move it. I can move it. It's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, so we want y'all to come and go with us to Alabama to the live and then share history with us as well and get educated because we'll have a lot of people there to educate and to train and to teach and to just help us live, beautiful lives.
Yes.
I like that,
Absolutely.
Kim. So, did anybody have any final remarks that they wanted to give?
Just thank you.
No,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
ladies.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're devoted to this time. You gave us some of your time, and we really appreciate it.
Amen.
The both of you.
Yeah.
Right.
The both of you.
Both.
You were so welcome. It was well worth it. If we
Thank
can
you.
reach just one person, it's well worth it.
Hey,
Right.
if I had
More
one night,
educate.
one mic, I can put about 1,000 a flight. But yo, if I had you, I can add about 10K to the crew. In 2020, baby. 2022.
Come on, 2022.
2020.
Y'all have a good night. We have enjoyed
Have a good
y'all.
night. Thank you all for joining us. We do appreciate it. And when we get our next show together, I don't know when it'll be, we will reach out so you all can be here with us.
Right here.
Right
Good
here.
night, y'all.
Good night.
Good
Y'all take care.
night.
Don't y'all hang
Good
up.
night.